Thank you, Tom. And our last speaker for today is Yasmine Shen from Class TEDxBeijing. Yasmine is a voracious reader, critical thinker, as well as an aspiring writer. And today, she will share her fictionalized world with us and also the importance about humanities. Let's welcome.
So the topic of my speech today is living in a fictionalized world. At the age of 12, I watched the famous movie Truman Show for the first time. When Truman wrapped up his conversation without viewers in front of the TV, staring at the camera and uttered a famous line. Good morning, in case I didn't see it. Good afternoon, good evening, and good night. I woke out of the fictional world. I found a strong attachment from I tapped the walls in the rooms in a trance, desperate to feel my existence in reality. The moment when Truman stepped out of the curtain, I felt a strong detachment from the world, from reality. Well, can you imagine a 12 years old girl feel that she was cheated by her life for the first time? Isn't that progressive? So the next step I took to resist was to immediately jump out of my chair, look at angrily, grow eternally. You're fake! My internal construction of a conspiracy theory system was interrupted by my mom telling me that it's time for dinner. That night, I lay in the bed with doubts about the world I'm in and reflection on the environment. You see, everything around it is created and defined by people, including the table, the bed, the piano, the sweet smelling air. If we believe, we can prove that everything is true. At the same time, we can just disprove them all. I can say that the table is just a bunch of wooden blocks put together, and its name table is artificially defined. As long as I listen to the table, it may exist with a completely defined entity, like a wooden square of something else. Well, this made me feel, from the bottom of my heart, that the world I'm in is so fragile. When I was a kid, I often see slogans on TV advertisements that said, "Our Earth is fragile. Please protect the environment and save resources." But this is not as the same fragility as I thought of. The later one exists in the core of the theory that everything around us may not be true. Then, us. So do we. Surrounded by big things, do we feel existence of ourselves? I've seen movies where the protagonist angrily grabs his hand and shoves it to the camera. What is real? Oh, I guess the director may want us to see further through the scene. Oh. However, the movie itself is a fictionalized medium. Or it should be said that all things relating to humanities are like blown wind by, floating in the air. They do not really have a pragmatic existence. However, as I remember in the end of Tim Burton's movie, The Big Fish, with an absurdly beautiful fictionalized world and then a real-life events happen simultaneously, the protagonist is then asked, which world would you believe in? The movie then ends, and the question is left to the audiences. For me, I'm going to believe in the world I love. Or, in other words, to believe in the world I wanted to believe in. I love to watch movies, to read stories, create fictional characters in which the world is made up. But it is the context in these visual things that make my emotions extraordinarily real. No matter how fragile the world is, I have my own obsession and fantasies. These made up the world where I'm living all the time. We live in a world where people are constantly moved by fictions. When you first read Harry Potter, do you believe that the world we're in is like a crumpled map of Hogwarts with a carelessly flipped note that begins with, "You have accepted"? When you visit the Hobbit Village in New Zealand, do you believe that you're actually as part of the city and dozen hobbits in a place? Do you believe in the existence of the three-body universe? Are you convinced that there's life beyond us as alive as we are? I'm sure that there are people here who can relate to these examples, because I am. So, when you think of these obsessions with fictional stories, will you start to wonder, why am I believing such whimsical things? Do they make my life better? I mean, after all, this is an era of science, where people can take a spaceship to the moon, extracting exact answers from numbers covered with computers. It's not scientific. Even become the most commonly used justification for denying a statement. More and more people think it's silly to believe something are not true, like fiction, dreams. It seems to be a shame to believe in these fictional things on the bias of lack of knowledge. But this is a unique and precious human emotion. There are wonders and countless pieces of tangible evidence, yet we still get impressed by fiction over and over again. And we're willing to believe the existence of this fiction. In the movie The Big Brother, when the protagonist entered the caravan they rented by his friend who was poor before death, under the broken windows, what comes into view are movie posters plastered all over the wall, and toy dolls piled up on the seats. At this point, the narrator slowly speaks. In this era, mankind had already been able to rely on scientific evidence into outer space, but never into one person's inner universe. Under a huge dome, each person has the richest mind in their hearts. We race through life, death, love and desire, wanting to lose their life, to believe in what we want to believe, to pursue freedom. And when these emotions overlapped, people build churches and charity organizations, going around calling for environmental protection. And this action can say, is definitely neither foolish nor shameful. However, the purpose of fiction is not only allow individuals to imagine, but more importantly, is to imagine together and form a common fictional stories. Such stories provide a Homo sapiens with the ability to assemble a large group of people and work together flexibly. Thus, people cannot live without fiction. In fact, all truth can be disproved, and even the truth itself is defined by others. But even so, when you see countless churches and charity organizations wander through countless theme parks, and when you are enthusiastically introduced by someone who loves fictional works, and they tell about their favorite worldviews and characteristics of men, when you see people who love science fiction, excitedly shouting, "Please protect the environment for the sake of the common universe," or you will start to wonder why we can have such strong faith in such fictional things. I'll answer you that it's our human nature. In the book *Sapiens: A Brief History of Humankind*, Yuval Noah Harari proposes that human civilization originated from fiction. This means when humans were able to transform reality into non-reality through fiction, when they didn't just recognize reality as it is, but instead created fictional versions of it in the intellectual realm. See the picture. Just imagine a group of prisoners who have been tied up to head, necks, and legs, imprisoned in the cave since childhood. They can neither move around nor turn their heads freely, but can only look back through a dark, narrow cave on the back of the cave. Behind them was a burning fire of aimless light. The prisoners will perceive the shadow as the real thing, until one of them was freed and able to see the puppet in the firelight. Finally, when he came out of the cave and saw everything by the sunlight, he then realized that the puppet wasn't the real thing, but copies. The sun is the real thing. The real world is outside the cave. This was also the opportunity for civilization to start. With the ability to recreate the reality, humans imagined together as a whole to form a new world. Quite like what you see when you join a group spiritual talk. From the moment you got detached from where you are and believe in the world beyond you. Thus, it's indeed correct to say that Civilization, so as religions, all begins with fiction. Civilization begins when everyone are able to break free from their shackles. They imagine together to see the new world. For me, I'm an extremely passionate writer. Every time when I write a story, I always get a sense that it's the words and sentences itself that carries life. Myself is just a medium of plot. Every time when I write a story, even with the knowing that what I write is fictional, I can't help but conceive of the scenes, characters' appearance, and even the smell of the air. I will leave my seat into writing. I imagine my bedroom as a bar, a prison, or the beach, retelling the dialogue that I've written down. Similarly, when I write works that are written by others, I often put myself into the protagonist's shoes, experiencing various emotions as the story progresses, feeling happy, sad, or unfair, forgetting that I'm actually the audience from God's perspective. Over time, I begin to believe in the world of literature. There are times when I pass by the beach, even with the knowing that, oh, I got a sense in my mind, this is not true. But still, I will fantasize I will meet the characters I've created there. She was laughing or dabbling, just like I've written down before. Think of this. When you create a story or made up characters, you always do that based on some existing experiences. Although fiction is primarily a narrative work, it is not created out of thin air. In humanities classroom, it is often mentioned that fiction is created by humans, but it also reflects and innovates upon reality. It is a thinking process that is essential for human thought. Those who are willing to engage in fiction are usually more creative. The progress of human civilization cannot abandon fiction, and that is why I think we need humanities subjects. It contains precious thought of inner spirit, love, and chase for freedom. I know it's always hard to find a balancing point between sense and sensibility, but I also know that I should never drop down a fictional idea, because they allow me to see the world in a completely different way, like a laid-out map, adding additional dimension to reality, promoting me to think, to love, and to rage. When I went to a funeral, I would question that why people cry. Is that they intended to, or they should do so? This change in perception makes me, as well as everyone, to see trees more than just trees, and rocks more than just boxes. If the previous world was one-dimensional, the world with fiction is three-dimensional, and the world is forever changed. I think the reason why humans have been on Earth for so long, why there are no other species, is precisely because our feelings are so shiny and dazzling. They continue other forms of existence beyond argumentation. The core of every civilization we see at the moment is rooted in the culmination of our beliefs of ourselves. Like I said, I love writing very much, and again, I can say equivalently that what I write is not true. I made up characters, I create stories, and I write things that want others to believe the world I've created, in the hope that my readers will be moved by my stories. But unlike a catch-all news writer, my aim does not send people into panic. Rather, it shows them that having this unique empathy and genuine faith is such a valuable thing of who we are as human beings. We are moved by emotions and beliefs that come from others, and we trusted others without any reservation because of this empathy. When science pursues truth, we, as humans, don't be a cyber robot and forget how to love and believe, because that is the value of life, and that is what distinguishes us. I want you all to be amazed that each of us can ever feel these wonderful emotions. When you sail along on a Ferris wheel, slowly rising up in the night sky, you suddenly see a warm light is flashing below you, and it's warm, essentially by wind. You stand up, desperately want to confirm existence. While a little whispered and said, I'm standing here, right here, and I believe in so. We're always together. I exist. Thank you.
Karina to the stage to sing a beautiful song.
We've been trapped by the world. So many moments we've lost before. I'm here, stuck with you. You're near, through and through. Now do I want anything more? I dreamed of flying away tonight across the sky. But when I stare into your eyes, I realized I'll love you like the world is ending every day. 'Cause there's nowhere else I'd rather be hiding. Oh, make sure you want some more. We can part our ways, but at the end of the day, there's a what will happen? No one knows. But don't you worry, love, slow. I'm here, stuck with you. You're near, through and through. Now do I want anyone? Yes, I love you like the world is ending every day. There's nowhere else I'd rather be dying. Oh, make it bored. You want some more? We can part our ways, but at the end of the day, well, then I can I dance with you tonight? Oh, 'cause when I look into your eyes, oh, I found what I've been looking for. Oh, this love will last forevermore. 'Cause I love you like the world is ending every day. 'Cause there's nowhere else I'd rather be dying. Oh, I may get bored, you want some more. We can part our ways at the end of the day. Fall in love with you.